I'm pretty proud to be part of a fishing family. It's a strong heritage. We all kind of come together and we've all got that one thing in common. My great-grandparents fished on this boat actually, like before my dad did. I do feel like fishing is in my blood.
When we have customers sitting here in the restaurant and they see someone in a chef's jacket walking down the wharf to get our fish, they're like, what? How can this be so fresh? It's something that you don't see anywhere, and that's what we have to preserve. That's what's so special about here, because it's real.
If I could get out of school 5 minutes earlier to catch the boat before it left, I'd be there. I remember one time as a kid I busted my knee up pretty bad and I couldn't walk on it, and Mum said to me, if you can't bend it, you're not going to sea. And I bent my leg. I had tears rolling down my eyes, but I bent my leg and I still didn't get to go to sea.
My father was different to me. He had to catch every fish that swam in the ocean. He was driven by, if there's a fish there, he had to catch it. They used to throw so much fish away in the old days, because they couldn't handle them. Instead of going getting 50 boxes of trout, he'd go and get 250. And then they'd lose 200 and they'd sell 50, and that's always stuck with me, that he had to catch every fish in the ocean, and I didn't want to be like that. When you talk Victorian seafood, you talk local niche markets. So that a lot of Melbourne people get fresh whiting, fresh rock flathead, fresh trevally, and that's our market. It's not the wholesale freeze them and send them overseas like the other states. We're a niche, fresh is best market.
Well, we're trying to create a little bit of Melbourne in Lakes Entrance. So the style and the elegance of Melbourne dining, but we want to be 100% Lakes Entrance and Victorian seafood. We catch squid, prawns, octopus, whiting, flathead, duckfish, gurnard, monkfish, scallops, you name it, we catch it here. So that's what makes it so unique. And that's what makes it so exciting to be a chef here, because you have that wide variety of seafood. You never get bored. It's just so real to me because my late husband was a fisherman. So him catching the fish, me cooking the fish, it's a real love thing for me. So even though he's passed away now, it's still a way that I can connect with him. It's just a way to honour what we did together. Literally, I've been up the wharf this morning. It's 20 steps to a boat that I get my prawns from. It couldn't be any fresher.
The boats are small. We don't catch 1,000 tonne a year. We only catch what we can sell, and we sell it easy.
The seafood industry to Lakes, I reckon it's the heart of the town.
When the tourists come, some of the first things they see is obviously the fishing boats, and it's not hard to tell what Lakes Entrance was built on.
The original fisherman in the family was me grandfather's grandfather.
So my fishing heritage goes back 6 generations, so my great-grandfather's father, grandfather, as well as their wives, they were all incorporated into it. Basically all the fishes, what made them good was obviously the effort they put in, the skills they learnt which were passed down, and just how they worked around the waters. They just knew what they were doing.
when the cicadas come, the tuna come, you'll be sitting at home and you'll hear a cicada in the bush and you'll know that the tuna is just about to arrive. On a hard easterly you'll get a low tide, on a hard westerly you'll get a high tide, and 100 different combinations in the middle. On the other side of the lake there's trees, and when there's a southwest change coming they curl their leaves up and close them. So you go out in the morning and if you can see a sea of silver, you know it's going to be bad weather. If it's all green and lush, you know it's going to be good weather, because they won't open their leaves if it's going to be rainy and windy. You know, just things like that you pick up over the time.
Little Soda is an old lake fishing boat that we bought off one of Mick's cousins, and we use it to go foraging. Normally what happens is that we might have a big day in the kitchen and we sort of look around the dining room and there's only a couple of tables left, and we think, oh, we might have enough time in between lunch and dinner that we can go out in the boat and forage a few things for dinner. We'll go to a place we haven't been for a while because, you know, you need to manage your patches, pick a few things, and hopefully the tide's going all right so that we don't be late back for dinner, because we do open at 5 and sometimes we've got back about 4:45. The whole town was based on fishing. It's an industry that's really embracing, so a lot of the young blokes just start work on fishing boats even now.
The co-op started about 1958, I think. A group of fishermen got together and decided it was a good idea to put it all together, so that's where it all started. And a lot of the building that you see today is still remnants of the past from there. The fishing is what keeps the community alive. Tourism is really good for a certain part of the year, but for the vast majority of the year it's the commercial fishing that keeps the town going.
I've been coming here since I was young. I practically come weekly.
Oh, years and years.
Yeah, years and years.
Most of it straight off the boats here, so can't get any better than that.
Well, I suppose it's what keeps this area going.
If we didn't have that, Lakewood would be a lot different.
I would say most people who live in Lakes Entrance come to buy their fish either from here or straight from the trawlers.
Some days there, you'll come in and you'll have a stretch of people all the way to the car park. And yeah, you know that what you did last night is actually going to mean something. Apart from that, we sell to the Melbourne market.
Good morning, I'm Barbara Constas from the Melbourne Seafood Centre. So what happens here is fish come into the ports, gets transported in through the trucking system and gets unloaded here. At 5 a.m. we open to the buyers.
Morning, Jess.
Morning. Good, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Some nice local gars today.
Dad's not well at the moment. He's fighting cancer. So he's just very tired after treatment, and it just happened to be Christmas Eve. He just could not get out of bed. He couldn't come and do it, so it was left for me to come in and do. Well, it's in my blood now. It's nearly 100 years in the family, and everyone here just makes it so much easier. And they make it worth the while getting up so early.
To get up at sometimes 11 p.m. to come into this centre to unload fish, you got to love the product and you got to love what you're doing.
Well, it's just been in the family for so long. It's life now. I don't know any different when it comes to working in a family business. I've just watched Dad, followed in his footsteps. He did the same with his dad, and then his dad did the same with his. I mean, he's just been up at the crack of dawn for like 48 years. He's worked really hard to put a roof over, you know, everybody's heads, and he's the hardest working man I know. So trying to follow in his footsteps hard, but I try.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi Jess, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
think, cooking seafood, once you know or you've had a little lesson of how to do it, is quite easy. And I think we tend to go out and we want to buy the big fillet of fish. For me, buying a prawn or buying mussels or sardines, they're far easier. Not only are they better for you, but they're far easier to cook. My mother, when she was in Sicily, she was up in the mountains, so she never really actually had fresh fish. So when she got married, she went to the Catania, which is the second capital of Sicily, and all of a sudden she had access to the most amazing fish all over the world. So one of her friends taught her how to do the stuffed sardines. We've had those sardines as long as I can remember in our family. But yeah, so from someone who had no idea of how to cook fish, she ended up cooking a lot of fish, and she had an abundance of seafood all around her in Catania, where I grew up until I was 7. So give it a go. Just go out and ask your fishmonger, how do I cook these? And it's usually the cheaper seafood that is easier to cook.
Can you imagine you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and you go out in the ocean and you're just free? You're free. It's just you and the ocean, and it's just magic.
I couldn't imagine being anything else apart from a fisherman. I think I watched my grandfather fishing. I used to fish with my dad, my uncle. When I was younger, that's all I ever wanted to be. When we get out that entrance, you just feel like as if that's where you're meant to be. You're out there with nature.
Every day's different. The bad days are really bad, but geez, they make the good days good. And I see my kids every day, all of them. I see everyone every day.
So I've got 3 sons, 2 older ones and 1 younger one. The 2 older ones, when they're both out on the boat, the mood's quite light. They like to joke around a bit. It's a bonding experience that a lot of people don't get to have, and I'm lucky to have it.
It's really lovely to see her buzzing around and looking after customers and sharing the love of the town, sharing this new passion that we have for foraging of the coastal herbs and the seaweed. It just connects us together to each other. I like to think I've given her the knowledge that she can explain to the customers and just share the love of what we do. I think that's really important, that you know where everything comes from.